one of the indications of a declining civilization and culture is vulgarity, sex, and absolute degradation in the entertainment. Don't misunderstand me. As an adult, like myself, once in a while, you might want to enjoy an adult beverage. You might want to go to a gentleman's club. You might want to gamble, smoke wacky tobacco, whatever your prerogative is, which is absolutely fine. But when you partake in that activity, there should be nobody under the age of 21 around you. Your story should not be discussed, and you should not glorify that type of behavior. For instance, I have a cousin who is 18 years old. I've done some crazy stuff, but I would never tell him about it because I know he is easily impressionable. I don't want him to smoke weed, cut class, make stupid bets on his entire paycheck, or do any reckless, bombastic behavior. If he becomes older and wiser, then I will talk to him about some of that stuff. But when you're impressionable, especially when you're a child, especially when you're under the age of 18, you shouldn't be exposed to that type of behavior. Crazy to think that it took until 1947 for a television show to even show a married couple in the same room. The show was called Mary Kay and Johnny. It was in their New York City apartment. But now we literally have Cardi B on live television on a stripper pole. Cardi B is idolized. Unfortunately, that's how stupid our society has become, by young girls. When they see that type of behavior, that energy being projected, music is frequency, frequency is a form of energy, they then repeat that sort of behavior, which is meant to sexualize them. The whole foundation of the West was the family. That's why they're attacking masculinity. They're sexualizing, hypersexualizing the women, making them more masculine, and attacking the family. Lowers the population. It causes less reliance on the government, many other things. But the whole goal is to attack the family. Do not misunderstand me. I will not mince words. But you see people trying to justify it. If Cardi B did this in a club where it was 21 or over, that's her prerogative. If Cardi B's music had a paywall or some sort of way where only adults could hear it, that's her prerogative. But her music is played on the mainstream radio. That energy is being projected out into normal, everyday people. That is my main issue with that sort of music. If you want to see another symbol of the declining degradation of the planet, Cardi B's WAP video has 9.4 million views. I just thought I would inquire. I typed in the top stocks in 2021. That video had 223,000 views. That just shows you the total demise of the culture in the world today. I typed in another video called How to Make Money in 2021. The first video that popped up, it had like 1.3 million views. You would think making money or finding the best stocks would have more views than a talentless globalist puppet like Cardi B. But then again, our society is declining. I was interested to see what was being discussed about this. I saw someone on Facebook add something that said something to the extent of, you guys are criticizing Cardi B's WAP performance. It was at an award show. I don't watch that bullshit. The only reason I know is because I've seen clips of it on my Facebook timeline. It was some sort of award show, the Grammys, the Billboard Awards, I don't know, a bunch of rich elite people handing each other metal trophies and claiming that people like me are racist. I don't even know what it was. On TV, she was stripping. This person said something to the extent of, you guys are criticizing Cardi B for her WAP music video, but you were okay with Grab Her by the Pussy. I think it is important to make a distinction between the two. I responded with, that is a straw man fallacy, meaning that you are not attacking the root argument. One of them was a private conversation that was not meant to be heard by the public. It was not meant to be heard by anybody. It was leaked and recorded. Cardi B's music was meant for the masses to consume. If you were to be recorded your entire life secretly, and then someone was to release something you said without proper context, or just in general, you might not be as perfect as you claim. And then all these people were responding with, so you're saying that you privately admit to assaulting women? No, you idiots. I am sure you've said something hyperbolically before, like, I'm going to kill you, to a friend of yours. Say a friend of yours, they hit you with a wet towel or they flipped you off or something, all in good fun. You told them, I'm going to kill you. Well, imagine if somebody recorded you saying, I'm going to kill you, and then they released it to somebody and said, look, you're a murderer. You said you're going to kill somebody. Ah. Or you said something like, I'll give you an example. I made an NCAA March Madness bracket. My bracket's doing terrible. So I said the other day, I'm going to blow this bracket up. Well, imagine if somebody were to release that statement and they called me a terrorist because I said I wanted to blow something up. If everything you've ever said in your life was recorded, documented, every statement, every movement, just like you do Trump, then you would be criticized. You would be called a racist. You would be called a sexist. A private conversation, which was not meant to be heard by anybody other than the individuals who were in that conversation, versus something that was perpetrated to the masses. It's non-comparable. Not saying that I justify it, not saying that I'm a fan of it. I played sports growing up. When you're in a male environment, you hear things like that. You hear guys say, look at that woman. She has a nice ass. Man, that woman is hot. I would love to be with her. You hear things like that. Again, not justifying it, but when you're around men, especially males with raging hormones, you hear men say things like that. It doesn't mean they're going to do it. It doesn't mean that they're going to act on it. It is just what they say. That's why Trump said it was locker room talk. But if you're going to be enraged at public figures and presidents, what about Bill Clinton bombing? Because we're all about straw man, right? We can compare something that's non-comparable, a private conversation versus something meant for the masses. What about Bill Clinton bombing a medicine factory to distract from his impeachment in Sudan? That's right, in Sudan, Bill Clinton bombed a medicine factory. claiming that it was producing chemical weapons. Later on, you had a British engineer who actually worked in the factory that stated there were no chemical weapons that were made. You saw all the rubble, you saw all of the total destruction. Sudan still has not recovered from that. Sudan was under an embargo. You had poor people, and that was the way they got their medicine. But Trump said, grab her by the pee. Oh my God, these dumbasses don't know anything. And a lot of these dumbasses were going to vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016, and we're mad at that. What about Bill Clinton using his Justice Department and Janet Reno in Waco, Texas, to go after American citizens? That's right, they killed children. They said the people in Waco, Texas were stockpiling weapons. So they put tear gas into the building on a 51-day standoff. But yet Trump said, grab her by the pee. He's so bad. Again, I'm not justifying it, but people act like that statement is the worst thing ever when you literally have Hillary Clinton, who's a damn murderer, and these dumbasses were going to vote for her just because they didn't like Trump's tweets. These idiots, these morons. Something I like doing, though, notice in this entire video, I never got mad at Cardi B. There's a reason. She's a puppet. She's a pawn. She is a court jester. On the pyramid of the ruling class, entertainers like her and Jimmy Kimmel, they're court jesters. Yeah, a court jester is higher than the peasants, like you and me. They're there to be a wind-up toy. They're there to make people laugh. But as far as controlling any of the policies, I am sure the king doesn't ask the court jester, or the queen, or even the duke, because the high business owners like Bezos are at least dukes, and then you have the higher up people, like the Rothschilds, who are the kings. Another story for another day. But the court jesters are just there to entertain. When they're done entertaining, the king says, get the hell out of here. You don't know nothing about policy. That's why I don't get mad at these entertainers. They're just jokes. They're just Hollyweird jokes. I was interested to see who was the owner of Cardi B's records. Her record labels, this is all public information. You can research this on your own. Just Google it. It takes less than 2 minutes. Atlantic Records and Warner Music Australia, which is owned by Access Industries. Access Industries is owned by Ukrainian-born billionaire Lynn Blavatnik, I think is his name. This is an old white dude who is a billionaire. Listening to Cardi B's music, if that's what you want, that's fine. If you're an adult and that's what you want to listen to, that noise pollution, go for it. I'd rather listen to noise from my cat's posterior, but that's just me. If that's what you want to listen to, that's fine, but don't act like you're empowering anybody. Don't act like you're against the establishment. Don't act like you're going against the grain. Cardi B is owned by an old white man, just like Lil Baby. All of these rappers that you see, if you really look at who owns their music rights to their record labels, it's always the rich people, the rich white people. And here's the thing, they get all the money. TLC, the old hip-hop group in the 90s, they literally, I think they're a hip-hop group, I don't know, they're not really my style of music. But they went bankrupt when they were selling 1 million albums. That's because what these record companies do is they get you to sign. Then when you sign, they give you money, which is an investment. When you get that investment, then you have to pay it back once your records come out. NSYNC, for instance, I think it was NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys, I don't know, I don't follow these clowns, but they had a tour where they sold over $1 million. But during that time, they had to get their cut. All the band members had to get their cut. They sold their tour at a loss. You're spending the entire time paying back that debt to the record labels. Cardi B even admitted that she doesn't write her own music. She just regurgitates and repeats what she's told to repeat. That's why the record labels have all the power. Even on Spotify, you have to get a certain amount of listeners to get even 15,000. It's like a limit. I don't even know the exact number. It's been a while since I've looked into this stuff. But the record label is the one who makes all the money. Cardi B is just a puppet. for the record companies, along with these other entertainers. That's literally all I had to say on this. I was just sort of thinking about the absurdity of people justifying a woman on national television on a stripper pole because someone said something in a private conversation that was not even meant to be heard by the public. And then these same idiots who were mad about that statement were going to vote against that man for a woman whose husband bombed a medicine factory in Sudan, which killed Africans, while also going into Waco and killing children. I mean, these are the idiots that you have to deal with.